Hello students, in this chapter already we have discussed about health, diseases, common diseases in the humans and the life cycle of the plasmodium. Okay, so today we will discuss about immunity. So what is immunity? The ability of the host cell to fight the disease causing microorganisms due to immune system is called immunity. Okay, in today we have seen all around us the corona age is going on, so everyone is talking about immunity. Boost your immunity. What does this mean? Means if you immunize your body, then you will always protect from this coronavirus. It is not only with the corona. We will discuss uh, in many of the cases for the different bacteria, virus, fungi and pathogens. We have to immunize our body. Okay, so we have to boost up our ability to fight with the diseases. This is called immunity. And this immunity or immune system are of two type. First is innate immunity and second one is acquired immunity. So what is innate immunity? It is non-specific type of defense present at the time of birth and provide different kind of barriers to entry of the foreign agents into the body. Okay, so what is innate immunity? Actually it is non-specific type of defense mechanism and present from the time of birth, and it consists of many barriers for the entry of the foreign agent. Okay, so it is out of four type. First we will discuss about the types, then I will explain you in very short, in very simple language, so that you can understood all the things. First is physical barrier. It includes skin, mucus coating of epithelium lining of the respiratory, gastrointestinal tract and urinogenital tract. Okay, so here we are talking about physical barrier. We all have skin, and skin is the first line of defense because pathogens are everywhere in the environment, but the first line or the first defense is our skin, so that the pathogen cannot easily enter into our body. But along with the skin, we have some openings in our body. For example, your mouth, eyes, ears, nose. Okay, these are the openings. From these openings many pathogen can enter, because when you breathe in from your nostrils, along with the air many pathogens can enter. When you eat something, through the digestive tract, some pathogens may be enter. So what are the arrangements to protect you from these pathogens? This is the mucus coating of the epithelium lining of the respiratory tract. Okay, in your nostrils, it if you uh, feel that in your nostrils it always somewhat wet, and when you open your mouth, uh, feel there always it keep moist. Similarly in the urinogenital tract, it also somewhat moist from the inside. Why? Because it consists of mucus coating on the epithelium. So the mucus lining trap any pathogen if it enters into our body. So the mucus secreted by these epithelium cell trap the pathogen and do not allow to enter into the body. Next barrier is physiological barrier. It include acid in stomach, saliva in the mouth, tears from the eyes. So these are the physiological, means they produce by some physiological activities. For example, acid in the stomach. Okay, you are taking some food. Maybe the uh, maybe food, internal lining of the food may contain some pathogen, and it do not trapped by the saliva. Then what will happen? It will enter into your stomach, but in the stomach there are few more barriers to protect you from that pathogen, that is acid. Okay, the acid, with very low pH, it easily break down the pathogen. Similarly, saliva in the mouth continuously producing saliva in a low amount. If you're not eating something, then saliva, what present in the saliva, ptyalin enzyme or the salivary amylase enzyme present in your saliva, it can break down the starch. So any pathogen having the cell wall made up of cellulose or the starch, not actually cellulose, but any polysaccharide, then it have the capacity to digest it. Similarly, your tears contain lysozyme enzyme, which break the cell wall of the bacteria. In this way it can protect you from the various pathogens. Okay, so you have seen the physical barrier. Physical means any physical thing like the skin or like the mucus coating of the epithelium. Physiological barrier like the production of acid, saliva and tears. Okay, now the third line of defense is cellular barrier. Cellular barrier means here some cells are present which protect you from the various pathogens, that is leukocyte. You know about the leukocyte is actually WBC cells. There are various type of WBC cells. WBC cells may be eosinophils, basophils, neutrophils, monocytes, etc. So neutrophils and monocyte, along with that the lymphocyte of the like the natural killer cell, these all are present in the blood, as well as macrophages. These all protect you from the various pathogen. These can engulf the foreign pathogen which enter into your body. So these are the cells which directly fight with the pathogen, hence it is known as cellular barrier. The last one is cytokine barrier. Okay, so virus infected cells secrete protein called interferon. Here some points you have to remember. Whenever a virus attack on any cell of your body, then the infected cell secrete an chemical known as interferon. Means interferon is produced by your cell or the infected cell. And what is the function of this interferon? This interferon secrete from the infected cells and reach up to the nearby cell, and there it making an alert that there is a viral attack, so be prepared to fight with this. So it is a type of signal, therefore it is named as cytokine. Means cyto means cell, kine means signal. So um, it is a type of signal produced by some cell which is already infected, to make the nearby cells be alert, be ready for the fighting with a virus. So the chemical or the signal is interferon. Okay, so these are the barriers which comes under innate immunity. Okay, i discuss I will discuss again innate immunity. This is non-specific because here no any antibodies up to the within these 4 points you do not listen about any antibodies, so it is non-specific. And these all the 4 points, 4 barriers present from the time of birth, and these all provide a type of barriers to protect you from the pathogens. Okay, these may be the physical barrier, maybe the physiological barrier, maybe cellular barrier, or the cytokine barriers. Okay, so this is about innate immunity. The next one is about acquired immunity. Acquired immunity means the pathogen specific defense characterized by the memory. Means in case of acquired means you earn during your lifetime. This immunity you earned during your life. So, and it is specific to the pathogen, means if it is some bacteria, maybe the typhoid or pneumonia, etc. So each pathogen or each virus, each bacteria have a different type of antigen. So against them different type of antibodies will be produced in the body. So it is specific for any specific pathogen. Acquired immunity, in acquired immunity, pathogen specific defense, it is characterized by memory also. So whenever any pathogen enter into your body for the first time, maybe the fighting is not so much intense, but when you recover, you already produced antibodies. Along with antibodies, there are some memory cells also formed which protect you for the further attack by the same pathogen. If the same pathogen enter into your body again, then your body will fight more intensely, with more intensity, to this pathogen to protect you. Okay, so now I explained only the first point. Okay, when our body encountered a pathogen first time, it produced a response. So the first response is known as primary response. First response means whenever the pathogen enter into your body for the first time, and the first time you respond to that pathogen, this is known as primary response. This primary response is of low intensity. Subsequent encountered by the same pathogen produce highly intensified response, which is called secondary response. Okay, or it is also known as anamnestic response. Anamnestic response means you will have the memory about that attack, so that the next time you will already prepared to fight with that pathogen. So, so response or the anamnestic response due to the memory of the first encountered. Okay, so you understood all the points which are present in this first paragraph. So the primary and secondary response are carried out with the help of B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. B lymphocyte and T lymphocytes, these two are the lymphocytes which are responsible for the acquired immunity. For the first defense and another defense is during the pathogen coming, these all are carried out by the B and T lymphocytes of your body. So B lymphocyte produce the army of proteins called antibodies, each having two light chain and two heavy chains of the peptide. So B lymphocytes, these are what are defenses, what are the proteins which are producing by the B lymphocyte, that is antibodies. You know about the antibodies. We will see the structure diagram of the antibody. Usually it contains two light chain, two heavy chain of the peptide. Okay, so B lymphocyte shows the humoral immune response and the T lymphocyte shows cell mediated immunity. What do you mean by this? We have discussed the acquired. What is the acquired immunity? When any pathogen enter into your body respond to them by producing some antibodies. Okay, so the antibodies, the part which producing the antibody are the B lymphocytes. B lymphocyte produce antibodies. That is why, and these antibodies are the part of your blood, especially the WBCs. So when something is present in liquid part, this is known as humoral. So this humoral term stand for liquid, as these B lymphocytes will always present in your blood. So it is B lymphocyte which shows humoral immune response. Okay, and T lymphocyte, the memory, because when you finish the fight with the pathogen, for the next time you have to keep the memory of that pathogen, so that the next time you can fight with more intensity. So you have to keep some memory cells. So T lymphocyte produce some cells which having the memory of the pathogen. Along with that, it produces some cells which help the B lymphocyte in fighting. So actually T lymphocyte is very useful because it helps the B lymphocyte as well as keep the memory of the pathogen also. So it is also known as helper T cells. So it producing some cells. So T lymphocyte shows cell mediated immunity. Okay, so you have know the difference between the B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. B lymphocyte produce antibodies which are always present in your blood. So it shows humoral immune response, because humoral is it is a type of fluid, while the T lymphocyte produce the memory cells as well as help the B cells. So it helping, and these are actually the helping cells. So it shows cell mediated immunity. Okay, so here a few points which explain the difference between the innate immunity and acquired immunity. First point, innate immunity is present from the birth time, while the acquired or the adaptive immunity you acquire during your lifetime. Second point, the immunity remains throughout the life. Once it forms, like your skin or any saliva, acid or anything which are present in your body, if once it is formed, it will remain throughout the life. But the acquired immunity can be the short life or the long life, because antibodies may survive for few years or may survive throughout the life also. Third point, innate immunity, contact or exposure with the pathogen or its antigen is not essential, because these are the barriers actually, and these barrier will remain throughout the life. So here contact or the exposure with the pathogen is not essential. But in case of acquired immunity, contact with the pathogen or the antigen is essential, because after exposure with the antigen, your body will produce antibodies. Fourth point, innate immunity is inheritable. Okay, inheritable means it will uh, passes from generation to generation. But the acquired immunity, it cannot pass, because it is produced by yourself by exposure to various antigens. Okay, or in the form of vaccines also. But the acquired immunity cannot passes to the next generation except for a brief period to neonates. Means newly born baby. They depend upon the milk of her or his mother. So uh, through the milk it gains some antibodies. So only you can these are the exceptions, because it is gaining by his or her mother. Okay, the fifth point, innate immunity, it protects the individual from contraction of diseases of the other organisms. Means any other organisms which are present in the environment, we can protect myself with the help of innate immunity. But the acquired immunity, it protects the individual from the pathogen present on other members of the same species. Means, just suppose there are few members in a family. This is a family. A few members are present like A, B, C, D. Various members are present. So any individual, just suppose A, he is the person who already uh, uh, who already have the experience of different places, like this place and this place. So it acquired the immunity because different type of pathogen may be present in this area and in this area. So A have all the antibodies against the antigens which are present here and here. Antigens means maybe bacteria, fungi, virus, any pathogen. But other members do not have any experience of the different places. So when all these members when together displaced from this area to the new area, A will remain healthy from uh, these diseases. Means, because it having the immunity, having the antibodies against them. But maybe because it is the first time for the B, C and D members, so they maybe have some initially they maybe have some diseases belonging to the pathogens which are present here. Or if they go to this new place, then again the same case will be happen. A will remain the same, it will not getting any infection, but B, C, D have the chances of any diseases with for the pathogens which are present in that places. So again, see the last point of the acquired immunity, it protects the individual from the pathogen present on other members of the same species. A, B, C, D are of same species, but the pathogens which can infect the C, B and D will not attack on A because it have acquired immunity. This A person already acquired the immunity against these pathogens. Okay, so these are the differences between the innate and acquired immunity. Now this is the structure of antibody. As we have seen already, that it made up of 4 polypeptide chains, out of which 2 are long chain or the heavy chain, rest 2 are smaller chain or the light chain. Okay, so you can see the diagram, and here the antibodies are the protein molecules called immunoglobulin. So antibodies, the name of antibodies are immunoglobulins. Antibody is the common name, but its technical name is immunoglobulin, and it is are of various types like IgA. Ig is the short form of immunoglobulin, abbreviated form Ig, immunoglobulin. So types are A, M, G, E, etc. Okay, you can remember it by saying GAME, GAME, GAME. So you will remember that the antibodies are IgG, IgA, IgM, IgE. Okay. Each antibody molecule consists of 4 polypeptide chains. 2 are the long chains or called heavy chains. 2 other are the short chains. Both are arranged in the shape of Y. Hence, an antibody is represented as H2L2. H2. You can see this line. This is the long chain, and you can see that this line also. This is also the long chain. These 2 long chain is known as heavy chains. and for this the term is H, because there are two heavy chains, so H2. And you can see this line and this line, these are the two smaller chains, or also known as light chain. So for the light chain the term is L, and because it is 2 in number, so it is 2, H2L2. Okay, so this antibody is represented by the shape Y, having the two heavy chain, this and two light chain. Okay, like this. And these antibody, these four chains, which is made up of polypeptide. Peptide, what is peptide? Peptide means short chain of amino acids, means short proteins, you can say. Few amino acids combine to form peptide. So here total 4 peptide chains are present, so it is tetrapeptide. Okay, and these peptide chains are connected with each other with the help of disulfide bonds or the bridges. You can see these are the disulfide bonds or the bridges. It is present in between the longer chain as well as in between the longer and lighter chain. Okay, in case of antibody you can see this region. These are the antigen binding sites, means any foreign pathogen or antigen can bind with these sites, this and this. So two sites are present here to which any foreign particle can bind, and when it will bind, then these antibody bring that pathogen into phagocytic cells for the fighting. Okay, or any lymph node, we will discuss it. Okay, this is the structure of antibody. Tetrapeptide, two are heavy chains, two are lighter chains, and uh, they uh, they joined with each other with the help of disulfide bonds, having two antigen binding sites. Okay, other basis of immunity, as we have discussed, the innate immunity and acquired immunity. By birth means congenital, or by acquired during the lifetime. But other basis of immunity are also present in our body. For example, on the basis of production of antibodies, immunity can be further categorized as active and passive. Active and passive immunity. Active immunity, body produce its own antibodies against antigen. When body produce its own antibody against any antigen, then it is known as active immunity. But in case of passive immunity, ready-made antibodies are transferred from one individual to another. Okay, here some of the examples of the passive immunity. Colostrum, you know about the colostrum. It is the yellowish milk which is secreted by the mother during the initial days of lactation. Just after the birth of a baby, her or his mother producing milk which is slightly yellowish, and that milk is known as colostrum. It is very much nutritious and it also contain antibodies. So what antibody are present in the colostrum? It is IgA, immunoglobulin A. You have to remember this point. From the mother, IgA is transferred through the milk from mother to baby. This is an example of passive immunity because it is ready-made antibody which is passes from mother to her baby. So it is a passive immunity. Okay, so the name of antibody which is transferred is IgA, immunoglobulin A. Another example, different type of antibodies produced in the blood include IgA, IgM, IgE, etc. They are called humoral immune response due to the presence in the blood. This point I already told to you that because these antibodies are the part of blood, So this is known as humoral immune response. Human immune system can distinguish between self and foreign molecule or the foreign body, but sometime due to any genetic or unknown reason the body attacks self cells. This results in the damage to the body. It is called autoimmune disease. Rheumatoid arthritis is due to this effect. Okay, normally uh, your body is able to distinguish between your cells or any foreign cell. So when any foreign cell enter into your body, your immune system responded and fight with that foreign cell or antigen. But sometime if any genetic disorder or any unknown reason, if your cells, if your body cells uh, uh, cannot recognize by your immune system, then your immune system will fight with your cells. It will damage the body, and this disease is known as autoimmune disease. And it's one of the example is rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is painful joint inflammation, painful joint swelling, in which the fingers or toes, fingers in your hand and toes in your legs, the joints which are present in the fingers may be swell and painful, so that it cannot be uh, it cannot be dislocate, or it cannot be move your fingers in case of rheumatoid arthritis. It is an example of autoimmune disease. Okay, so the vaccines and the immunization. What is vaccine? Vaccine is a preparation of antigenic proteins of pathogens, or the inactivated or weakened pathogen is called vaccine. So vaccine, you know about the vaccine. Vaccine contain the actual pathogen, but that pathogen is not contain the pathogenic property, because it is already weakened or inactive or may be killed. Okay, so the vaccine is prepared by solution in which pathogen is present without its pathogenicity. And when this vaccine injected into the body, this process is known as vaccination. And what about the immunization? And your body, when vaccination is taking place, your body respond, means it will produce antibodies for that vaccine, so that if real pathogen try to enter into your body already contain the antibodies against them, so you can fight with them. This is called immunization. Okay, so read about this. The antibodies produced in the body against antigen would neutralize the pathogenic agents during the actual infection. The vaccines also generate memory B and T cells that recognize the pathogen quickly on subsequent exposure and overwhelm the invader with a massive production of antibodies. If a person is infected with some deadly microbes to which quickly immune response is required, as in case of tetanus, we need to directly inject the preformed antibodies or antitoxins. What is antitoxin? It is a preparation which contain the antibodies of the toxins, antibodies to the toxins. Even in case of snake bite, the injection which is given to the patient contain the preformed antibodies against the snake venom. This type of immunization is called passive immunization. Okay, so here what is written? Tetanus. In case of tetanus, uh, what happens when anyone having cut from any iron, rusted iron which are having the rust, then it is advised that to take the vaccines against the tetanus. But in that vaccine actually antibodies are present which is preformed, so that you can fight with the pathogens responsible for the tetanus. Okay, that is Mycobacterium tetani, so that you can recover very fast. Recombinant DNA technology. We will discuss in biotechnology chapter what is recombinant DNA technology, because by this technology we can produce the vaccines against various pathogens more effectively in the large quantity. So first we will discuss what the things are written here. Recombinant DNA technology has allowed the production of antigenic polypeptides of the pathogen, because pathogen is actually the polypeptides means this is actually protein na? Protein means polypeptide. So pathogen contain antigenic polypeptides in case of in the form of bacteria or the yeast. So during the recombinant DNA technology, we produce the antigens or the polypeptide which is known as vaccines. This vaccine produced using this approach allow the large scale production and hence greater availability for the immunization. For example, hepatitis B vaccine produced from yeast. Okay, this example we will see in the uh, biotechnology chapter in the topic recombinant DNA technology or the RDT. Here what we will see the uh, we will take the plasmid of the bacteria, and in the plasmid we will change its some of the genes. Some genes will be deleted and some new genes, for example this pathogenic gene will be added. But this pathogen contain only the antigenic part. It will not contain the gene which is responsible for its infection or the pathogenicity. And then what will happen from this plasmid when it enter into another organism, when the organism will multiply itself along with its genetic material DNA, when it multiply itself, its genetic material also multiply. And what happens, DNA forms the RNA. You know the central dogma, DNA forms the RNA forms the protein, and protein means our required product, that is vaccine or the antigen. It also form along with the multiplication of the yeast or the organism in which this recombinant plasmid is entered. Okay, maybe the some things you have you can understood here, but in detail we will discuss in the biotechnology chapter how with the help of recombinant DNA technology we produces the vaccines. Okay, so allergies.